Yo, what's up? This is Rapsody. I'm in London, and I'm with my favorite Brendan on the mic. We always have amazing interviews. He's my favorite person to talk to. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. I appreciate how you care for the culture. Culture don't move without the people. On the mic, Brendan, they are the people. They care about the culture. Thank you for receiving me. Keep it locked. You're not going to get no better interviews than the ones you get here. You heard it first. Don't forget it. Rapsody out. Peace. Me and Erykah's relationship has been forming for like years. I've been a fan of hers for a long time. She's one of my biggest inspirations. And it started with like Ninth and her had a relationship first working on Honey. And he put me on the phone with her. This is probably like 2009, right? And that was my first time talking to her. And every time I see her, you know, it was just build and build. But we really got close during this process of making 3 a.m. I didn't have her number at the time. S1 sent her the record, and she was like, I want a piece of that. So she FaceTimed me. No, she called me one day, and we just started talking and texting, you know, whether it would be like different lyrics that she had for the hook, or I would change my second verse. And we just created a friendship. It was just really natural and really easy. Like anybody that has had the opportunity to be, you know, graced with her presence and meet her, she's so kind. She has a beautiful heart, beautiful spirit, very giving. I mean, like, so she operates in love, like, you know, and I live the same way. So I think naturally, like, two kind, loving, happy, creative, fun people, like, the friendship just grew naturally. You know, she'll always text me and say, thank you for your pure energy. But I feel the same way about her, you know, because she didn't have to get on the hook. She doesn't have to give me advice sometimes. She doesn't, even for the Fallon show, she dressed me. She didn't have to do that, you know, like, so, yeah, I don't have like a crazy story. It was just really organic how, you know, our relationship just continued to grow, and it's still growing. And she's one of my favorite people that's walking this earth. Like, I have a lot of great, deep love for her, so. Yeah, I trust her, you know, and that was a very uncomfortable thing for me to talk about, but I felt safe with her. You know, Erykah is a safe place. I tell her she's a light, you know, she's a light, a very safe space for me to share that. And it was just so in the moment because we were just having a really, like, I didn't write down questions for it. I just went in and we just talked. And I was like, you know, I feel okay saying that to her. You know, and even at me, I can't even watch the interview because, you know, it is so personal and raw. But yeah, like, that's Erykah. Like, you know, she's one of the most beautiful spirits and people that you'll ever meet. Yeah. Yeah, we worked on it for like 10 months. It wasn't like every day. You know, anybody that, you know, is a fan of Erykah and follows her, she tours 200 and some days out the year, like, whether it be like shows or, you know, she's a style and fashion icon. And so, you know, it was working around her schedule, working around my schedule, and just fitting it in. And two, like, just allowing the music and the words to come when they came. I'm never into rushing anybody in their process. So, yeah, we just let it organically happen. I wasn't worried about release date. I kept pushing it back. You know, like, I wanted her to feel good about the creative process. I felt great about it. So, yeah, we took our time, you know, and let the music come to us. No, not at all. When you're creating anything, whether it be music, fashion, paintings, art, sculpting, whatever, architecture, you know, you're going to have times where the creativity is like, yo, I wrote a song today in 20 minutes. I wrote a song today in a week, or I worked on a song for a year. You know, every song is different, you know, for different reasons. Inspiration comes different. You know, I've heard stories about some of the greatest artists, and they'll go in and it'll be quick. And it made me feel good to hear the other stories of like, no, like we worked on this song for 3 months, or we worked on it for 8 months, or I went and I did 10 different verses. So you can't force anything. You know, if it's not right and it don't feel right, you might have to walk away from it and come back, you know, and you just have to let your process be your process, but you cannot rush or force greatness. It's not unconventional. Everybody does it. If they say they don't, they lying. Or they're a rare breed. But no, like, you know, it'll just be different. You just gotta, I'm really into flow state. Allowing things to flow how they flow. You know? Yeah. I've been aiming for a collaboration with Lauryn since I was a youngin'. Yeah, but I mean, the same with that. Like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. You know, I'm still working on building a relationship with her. Like, we'll email each other from time to time. I never like to force anything. So, you know, if the timing, you know, aligns that way, I pray it does. That would be a beautiful moment in my life to create with her. And if not, like, I'm grateful. You know, I'm grateful for the music that I do have for her, for the relationship, even if it's a little bitty one that I have. So, you know, but it would be a dream come true for sure. Yeah. Me too. I mean, if you want to know my dream, like, it would be me, Lauryn, and Erykah to do a joint together. I'd be a kid in a candy store. But nah, you know, like, yeah, I'm just grateful for how each of them show up in my life, even if it's in different ways. So, God willing, you know. I didn't speak to him at the concert. I spoke to him maybe a week after the concert. No, I spoke to him a week before and a week after. He texted me, because I hadn't spoken to Kendrick maybe in like a year and a half, and he texted me out the blue, and he had listened to the album, and he was like, album is crazy, right? And we were just catching up, nothing like, just catching up. And I went and enjoyed the show, and I gave it like a week because I wanted him to have time to like decompress. And I just texted him and told him, you know, show was amazing. And, you know, we texted a little bit more and that was it, you know. But that's our relationship. We always in and out, you know. But, you know, he's a beautiful human being too. Raw, authentic, real, like loving. And I'm super proud of everything that he's doing. Yeah, he's a great leader. He's wearing it and walking it beautifully, you know.
I remember, like, I saw that video, like, back in the day with you, Kendrick, Cole.
Yeah, we were
So crazy.
man, we were all youngins. It was all the TDE there, myself, Ninth, some of Jamla, Cole, like, yeah. I think that was, if I'm guessing, maybe that was 2011. But yeah.
I'm glad that, you know, he gave you your flowers on the album. That's really good.
Said what?
I'm glad that he gave you your flowers for the album.
Yeah. Nah, like, he's a real one. You know, he stays tapped in to everything. Like, he can be as quiet as he want, but I for sure know that he listens and watches everything. But, you know, again, I'm grateful and I appreciate him for just reaching out and saying it. Like, but he's always been that, you know. So it let me know Kendrick is as real as they come. That's all I know. So.
So, you know, like, a lot of people talk about you being underappreciated, right? Was that, like, ever a thing to you?
I mean, I'm human, yeah. I have my days. I had one very recently. You know, I just completed this is the last date of our 5-city Europe tour. And maybe like 4 days ago, I had a not so good morning, and I was just in my head about things. And, the reality of it is we're human, and the music business is not always easy, especially for artists like us, who we put the art first above anything else. And it can be challenging, but, my process is I allow myself to feel, to be as raw as I can. And once it's out, I'm done. I think that day we went and rode bikes around Paris for like 3 hours, and I was okay after that, But yeah, I have my days where, it's like, man, I love this art so much and I give so much. And like I said on stage, I want to always leave people better than I found them. And you wonder, like, what am I not doing where it's not received, But you got to get back on your square. What's meant for you is meant for you. The people, like this interaction, this is what brings me back, So I'm okay. Yeah. Yeah, partly. Like how we consume music and how we value music has changed. If you're not like a pure music lover, sometimes it's about everything else except the art of it. And I think there's room for everything, right? Like I love hits, but I love art too, the art of it all. And I'm tapped into everything, and I like to study the psychology of it all. And I see conversations of, she's dope, but she ain't got no hits. She's dope, she ain't got no plaques. She's dope, but she ain't got no Grammys. And, people they'll undervalue you just because they think you have to have that metrics to be celebrated, And for me, that's the last metric. The first is like the art. How do you inspire people? How does the music that you make people feel? Whether you make people feel good in the club, or you make people feel good on a day where they're just home with their loved one, or they're in the kitchen cooking and they just need something to vibe to. Like those are the things that I value about the art. So I mean, yeah, I think that's part of it for some people, but it all depends too on who you're talking to, because there are really people like yourself that really love the art. So I guess that's really a subjective question, and it makes me work on my perspective too, on how I even look at it and what I entertain. So.
Have you ever had like any industry people try to give you like advice on like do this, do that, like gimmicks or anything, just to like have the spotlight on you?
Not in a very, very long time. Like not since like really early in my career. That's the blessing, I could say, on that level of the people that I know and work with behind the scenes in the business. It's a lot of love and respect. And I have a lot of allies and friends and family that do nothing but pour into me and ask how they can help. But I've never had anybody try to change anything that I've done. I've gotten advice, and I'm always open to advice and incorporating in, okay, how can I grow in this but not change who I am, the fabric of who I am. And I think that's good for anybody, but never, like, nobody at Roc Nation, nobody that I've just crossed paths with, it's always love. This is my third album, Please Don't Cry, I put out with Roc Nation. No, it's not. It's my second one. But every album I brought to them, they've never changed it or tried to change it. They've always approached it as, what do you want to do? How can we help? Who do you want to work with? Sherry, Brian, and Omar, Sherry is a former president, but I worked heavily with this last project and with Eve, like just super supportive, but she'll be honest with me. And I always want honesty, because I'm still growing and learning too. And it's been a beautiful experience. It's everybody outside. It's the fans. Well, they're not fans really, but it's all the talk and noise outside of people who have never done this but have all the advice in the world of what you're supposed to do, But the people that are in it, all love.
Like Cardi B on Whoopi, right? Um, did you not ever think about like getting Roc Nation to maybe help making it happen? Because I feel like you said you tried to reach out, right?
Yeah, I mean, they did. Yeah, yeah. I always go first because for me, anybody I work with, I never want it to feel like just a business transaction. People I work with, I like to get to know you. I want to talk to you. I want to feel your energy. Like I want us to energetically feel good. I don't want to create something with somebody and I meet them and they're not a good person. You know what I'm saying? Now I have this record with you and I necessarily don't align with you. So, with me, I always like to reach out first. I think it's the most respectful way to create if you really care about creating that way. And, if I'm having a hard time, then Roc will be like, all right, let us try, But now they've been super supportive. So I think during that time with Cardi, the timing was just off. I can't remember if she was pregnant and about to have a baby or if she was like in the middle of a rollout. But it was like a timing issue that was off. More than anything. So yeah, but every time I've come in contact with Cardi, she's always warm and delightful to meet. So yeah.
I think that would be dope, and I think it would align like organically because Cardi has obviously shown you so much support. So that's the only reason why I don't think it up. Because I've seen that like over the years, like champion. So I think that would be a moment for sure.
No, I think so too. I think we would make something that would be super fun and really dope. And again, the same like Lauryn, like, if it aligns, it aligns. But, I have a lot of love and respect for her. And not only how she's championed me, but she's really did a lot for the camaraderie amongst women in the music business. Because to have that platform that she had at the time that she did, she could have did anything with it, and she chose to like, let me help grow the village. And I thought that was dope.
For sure, for sure. It's funny, like speaking of Roc Nation, right? Because like you had something where you said like when it comes to creating, you're not chasing numbers or plaques or billboard number ones, right? How much of a blessing is it to have like a Roc Nation who like don't like expect that of you, but give you that backing and they support you?
Man, peace of mind. Peace of mind. Like I've heard a lot of horror stories about the business and labels that are only about the bottom line, and I've heard some really good stories, and I'm grateful that my experience and my story is a really good story. And I think it always starts from the head down, right? And Jay being the head of Roc Nation, he sets the tone for that, and he's a pure artist that cares about the art, that cares about artists. So I think he really set the tone and the culture for that in that building. I remember having talks with Young Guru and, me even thinking like, damn, I don't want to get dropped. You know what I mean? And Guru was like, yo, Rap, Jay's not expecting that from you. He knows what type of artist you are. You're a legacy artist. So just do you. And to be able to go in the studio and not have that pressure and to be able to create from a most peaceful, authentic place, that's the best gift that you can give any creative is peace of mind and when they're creating their art. So yeah, it's a blessing. Like that building is beautiful. A lot of loving people that really care over there. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's happened time and time over. Some things I might have known about and other things I might not have known about. Other people in my team may have known about, but it's definitely happened. Like, at the end of the day, like I remind myself, this is a business. And there are people in it that want to make money off of it. And the times have changed so much. And what they use to measure how they're going to make money. I ain't here to judge nobody's business plan. Do I always think it's the best? I don't know. It depends on what your goal is, short term or long term. But I think in the long term, pure artistry will be around forever. Legacy artists will be the ones that'll continue to grow and make money for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And there's some artists who are only here to make you quick money. So it's okay. At the end of the day, I guess you just got to ask yourself what type of business that you want to be and what you're in it for and operate from that place. At the end of the day, I tell myself for my peace of mind, I can't be mad. That's how I keep my peace is I have to wake up and be like, I'm grateful for the things that I have attracted, you know, like. But yeah, I've definitely lost opportunities because I don't have millions of followers, or my Spotify numbers aren't 3 million listeners a month. You know what I mean? Like, those are the things that people look at for booking festivals. It ain't about did you put out a great album with great music. It's like, what are their monthly listeners? So I know I missed a lot of opportunities from those things, but I'm here and I'm grateful. Yeah, I mean, part of my growth is, I had to be in solitude, I had to be by myself, it just wasn't them. Like, I wasn't speaking a lot to my closest friends, or, I didn't go home and visit my family as much because I had so much weight on me. I had to learn to take care of me, I had to learn to get to know me again. Because I learned that, I didn't love myself as much as I should have. I had doubt about myself. I was insecure, you know what I'm saying? And I couldn't lean on anybody else for a crutch. I had to sit in my fire and burn. So I had to separate and be by myself and learn to love myself and affirm myself, and validate myself and forgive myself, and that's what that was, and it was instrumental to this album. Like, I wouldn't have the album I have if I didn't do that, because I would be leaning to other people's opinion because I'm scared of fear of, like, what if I make the wrong mistake, or what do you think? That would be a question I would ask a lot. Like, what do you think? What do you think? Rap, what do you think? How do you feel? So I had to learn to trust myself. So it was super important into the creative process for Please Don't Cry. Oh yeah. He did. More than two. I probably had maybe up to 10 beats from him. I recorded over 300 songs for this album, but there were two that were really close to making it. One was on it, and we ended up taking it off. The one with Mary J Blige. Yeah, we worked on it, and I kept sitting with it. I was like, it's not there yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, even Mary, I called her and she was like, I'm not even in love with my hook that I gave you. And I was like, well, let's keep working on it, or let's work on something else. So that's what it was.
You and Mary make that so happen. It's going to be such a powerful one.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, me and Mary gonna go dumb when we get in. That's my girl. I love her to death. Yeah, we were spending a lot of time talking every day because I was helping with a film that she was directing. It was her directorial debut for this movie called On the Come Up, and I was writing all the lyrics. So we was talking every day, and when they filmed it, I didn't need to be there a majority of the time, but she allowed me to stay maybe like a month and a half just to watch the filming process. So, we became close friends the same way me and Erykah became close. And we would just talk. It wasn't about the movie or anything. We would just talk about life. And she made me be comfortable because she had gone through this healing phase and done this work, and she was sharing things with me that I'm like, wow, Sanaa is opening up to me, and we still building our friendship. So it made me feel safe to share with her as well. And that's just what it was. We would just talk, and she would tell me things to help me along my journey, because she was a lot further in her healing phase than I was. I was still at the beginning. So she would give me little tools to help me along the way, and man, they were big hammers. I wouldn't have evolved and grown as fast as I did without some of the things that she poured into me, and the knowledge that she gave me, and the tools that she gave me. So I'll forever remember that as part of our friendship. what she did,
I love that you have like this tribe of like Sanaa and Erykah, and I love that for you because I feel like those are such like iconic women like even for myself. I think it's so cool. Like I've really loved Sanaa for a long time. So like to see that she's like around you and she's always like by your side. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, same. Like, I was a huge fan of Sanaa and Erykah, but they'll both tell you like, yo, we're human too. We just like you, we're no different. And that's the beautiful part about it, Like, but it's a blessing to have good people in my corner. Like, yeah. I would answer that the same as the other one. Like, yeah, I want my art to be valued too. I like to buy nice things. you know, you think about the time that you put into it, and it's just a human experience to go in that place. But the growth is realizing that, maybe part of that is ego. Or maybe you comparing yourself to what other people doing. Maybe you comparing yourself to what other people doing, and maybe you should just look forward and work on your journey and your path. You could be paid nothing. You could be back then when you were dumb broke. Like, you were able to get a house. You were able to get your mom a car. So, I have that human experience, but I have to always have the awareness to understand, like, you're operating from a low vibrational place. Not to say that you can't say what your value is. Know your value always, but can I curse? Don't let it with you internally, like. Oh, for my other albums? Man, slightly. While I was making Please Don't Cry in the very beginning, before I knew, like, this is the one I'm going to put out, I was working on 3 albums at one time, right? I had this idea, I want to put out 3 albums in 1 year. Roc Nation was like, relax. So, but one was, before the pandemic, I was going to put out the Adam version of Eve for the guys. And there's another, like, there's so many people only know like certain parts of who I am. I'm really a well-rounded person, and I wanted to take people like back to the roots of what made me, where I grew up, like, and it's different than what this season of my life is, right? But still having that foundation is so instrumental to who I am, and it allows people to see like the homegirl part of me, right? People see like the leader, righteous, but there's a fun side. There's it's just another side. So, that was an idea. I had like some ideas of albums I wanted fully produced by certain producers. S1 being one, Major 7 being one. Me and Hit Boy talked about doing a full project together. I have a lot of ideas in my head, so that's the best way I can answer it.